Hey, what's going on? Uh, I always hate YouTubers. I'm not a YouTuber, but I always hate YouTubers. It's like, hey, welcome to my channel. Uh, I'm blah 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 blah. Welcome back. Hey, what's up, guys? It's like they're what a bunch of phonies. Anyways, I'm doing okay. Happy Mother's Day to people who uh, care. Um, and also happy Emmy. I don't know if I was happy, but it's Emmy Awareness Day, and kind of like Emmy Awareness Month, sort of, so to speak, right? A lot of stuff coming up. Um, the Unite to Fight 24 thing still happening. I think that's happening the 15th, 16th, 17th, or the 16th, 17th, 18th, one of those days. I don't know if it's 2 days or 3 days. I'm not sure. Um, I hadn't participated in a lot of Emmy stuff in the last um, couple of years, but this year I decided to do a GoFundMe thing just to try to raise some money. So um, and whatever I came up short, I would just add the difference. So it's not gonna be like that much, but I'm only trying to raise like $200, and it was for the Open Medicine Foundation, which is run by or it's Ron Davis's and Ron Davis's charity, or she was a nonprofit, excuse me. And there are a couple things I wanted to go over today. An overall, sort of like generalized question of is ME awareness working? And that's the only reason why I'm bringing that up, and not to um, be negative about it. It's more of a general inquiry because there were two um, rather, I thought, significant um, media pieces. More than that, but I noticed there's been more um, journalistic um, um, journalistic interest in the illness. That could have to do with long COVID, but it also just ME in general. I've been reading a lot more, particularly in the UK. But there is a I believe he's from the United Kingdom. He's a rapper. People are probably not familiar with this guy. His name is Ren, R-E-N, and I think he also has MECFS. And then there was another YouTube video um, by a guy who doesn't have an insanely large following, but large enough. And I believe he is sort of like really goes after the Pace trial, which we all know was a fraudulent bullshit waste of not only money and resources, but it took a lot to get some of that stuff retracted and got a lot of the information and to get the transparency of that study to come out, like all the information for it to come out. It cost a lot of people there. I think some one gentleman, his health deteriorated severely by trying to really get to the bottom of it. Um, but in terms of Emmy awareness, is it working? Um, I lean towards maybe, which I know is not a leaning towards thing. It's like, well, I'm just fence sitting maybe. My overall takeaway is that not having been part of it, but just being an observer, what I've read is that there's been a lot of people who have been had this illness for a very long time, and they're not so keen on the idea that it is working. Now, do they think that it's like inching along? Maybe. However, um, I'm a friends with someone on Facebook who also has ME, and his name is Martin. He's from Germany, um, and I know he has gotten a little better recently over the years or last year or so, and he's been able to be more active, and he wants to do more things like make short films and stuff like that as part of his awareness campaign. That's something I'm a little bit more down for because I have a film background and like a media background. You wouldn't be able to tell by me doing this shit because I don't have a like a I'm more of a creative kind of person. I myself am not entertaining. I just like talking. Um, but I did want to show the rap video, and I did want to show the last couple of minutes of the video of um, what is his name? Pete Judo. I don't think that's his full name. I think his last name was like Judo something. But and I'll link all this stuff in the description so you can watch it yourselves. But I did want to show at least the rap because I thought it was pretty good, right? Because like Macklemore came out with like a rap about like the Israeli Palestine thing, and like it was like okay, but then like I was like oh, because it's not like I'm not interested in it, but like I was like oh, someone's rapping about MECF. Never would have thought about it. And also too like there was a book that came out this year, maybe last year, that was about someone who has MECFS. I've had some story ideas myself, actually, that I was thinking about. Like, I'm really into, I was really into Game of Thrones, and more so, I was really into some of the shorter stories that George R. R. Martin wrote. And I always thought it'd be interesting if you had like a knight have chronic fatigue syndrome or, or whatever. And so, like, and it would be sort of in the same he'd be running into the same problems, right? He's overexerting himself and he's getting worse, and he keeps going to all like these like I don't know like apothecaries or something like that, and they keep telling them it's all in your head because you're getting older or something like that, and then you just and they're not telling him to rest, they're telling him work through it or like take this fucking potion or some shit and then you'll feel better, of course, right? And so he just keeps getting worse, and he has to sort of resign himself to the fact that like he can't be a knight anymore, or he can't fight in like knights tournaments or something like that. So that was an idea that I was outlining for a little bit. And I thought that could make it. I don't know if it would ever make an interesting short film, but I thought it would make an interesting short story because we don't have like a lot of, I guess, what you would call like representation. Because it's very difficult to make a movie or anything about this kind of stuff, right? Because it's kind of like, how do you show it, right? It's very depressing, first off, right? And a lot of it is just like I know there's a guy, his name is Anil, and I think he's also from Germany, and he has severe ME, and he's made a short film, and I probably should show that too, but I'll link it in the description. And I'll link his YouTube in the description, and you can maybe watch get an idea of like what some of the films look like. They're very bleak, but remember it's from the perspective of people who have severe ME, right? If you had to see my day is like I was able to go for a walk today. I didn't want to, by the way. I just summoned I ordered something from like Uber Eats or whatever or something like that, and like they dropped it off very far away, and I had to go like look for it. I couldn't find it, and so like I had to reorder it. Boo hoo me. But anyways, it sucked because like then my leg. I was like, oh man, my legs are burning after that. But anyways, let me show. Let me show this video by Ren. It's called Troubles. I have the closed captions on. It's pretty good. Trouble so hard. Trouble so hard.
I don't reach into the past very much for these shards of shattered glass and harsh paper cuts. Leave me stop when I reach in, memories are seeped in. Hydrochloric acid, I go to war and get passive and freeze up. Music help the ice to thaw. Put the chisel in the middle, swing the hammer of Thor. Pull it out of the impossible, Excalibur sword. Etching notepads full of reasons why my feelings are sore. The first day that I got sick, ejected from the cockpit of living. 19, young teen, waking up bitter. Posters up, manhunt, ran, went missing. Hard to have faith when the gods don't listen. The first year maybe was the hardest. Waking in the body that was buried like a carcass. Brain in the lion's den, body in the shark pit. Waking up in pain again, aching, broken hearted. Persistent little blogger, I was bouncing from a doctor to a doctor to a doctor, like a table tennis game that has no end. So be the fate of Ren. Every single question answered with a question on the end. The second year I came to terms with giving up my dreams. Mine was severed from the means to help me write these rhyme schemes. Brain was inflamed, the fatigue was crushing. Hard to remain sane with your brain combusting. And the third year was murder, living in a purgatory full of worry, wouldn't live to be 30. Lifestyle hurt me, always in my bed to rearrange the alphabet and all the letters spelled doom. Light hurt my eyes, popping pills to survive. When you're 23 and mentally you steadily decline. 24 I was poor, disability benefits. What's the benefit of disability? It's irrelevant. 25 and the scars that were etched, they crack. Elastic bands only stretch so far and then snap. Deep in psychosis, hallucinations, troubled vision. Visits from the underworld were conjuring my superstition. 25 living back at home with my mum, but not because I'm a bum, alone and physically done. So thin, so frail, so weak I'd become. And my skin so pale, never kissed by the sun. One time I carved a hole in my chest just to feel. I wished that was a metaphor, the struggle was real. When you're living in the Holocaust, you buckle and kneel. There's relief in the teeth of the kiss of cold steel. Facts. 26, I'm highly medicated and the pain sophisticated while I'm lying broken naked on my back. I brought my microphone until my coffin started dropping raw thoughts with the grim reaper knocking on the track. But then, man, lo and behold, I heard an angel beckon on this treacherous road. Was a stem cell doctor with a generous glow. In the cell transplant pulled me out of the cold. And my skin got younger and my body got stronger. And my stomach felt hunger for a door that was closed. And my soul heard music for the first time. Beauty was a word I'd use for this gift of gold. Oh Lord, I forgive you. Lord, I forgive you. Lord, I forgive you. Make me whole. This music I give you. Pain that I live through. Everything I've been through is yours to hold.
Well, yeah, so that guy is awesome. I like rap. I like rap music. He reminds me of Doc Brown a little bit. He's another UK rapper. Um, he touched upon a lot of things that I'm sure we're all familiar with. Um, Having to give up on a lot of our goals and dreams, um, brain inflammation, going from doctor to doctor. Um, I'm happy that he included a lot, like some just like subscript on the information, like some information that it would probably be harder to convey within the rap itself, like the fact that it's criminally underfunded and it's just under researched and no one really gives a shit, and how sort of it's an illness that really just robs you of a lot of shit. And yeah, so that is, I'm happy that he put that out. I mean, that's great that this came out right when did he specifically release this? Oh, okay, 3 days ago. So it came out on the 9th. So just in time for Emmy Awareness Day. He has 1.37 million followers, and this has about 600,000 views. So I would suspect this is going to get up there, probably get to 1 million. He said in his comment, "There's a really good chance we can chart with this one, meaning it'll make the top 40." And he said that would be huge for awareness. So again, something that I completely wholeheartedly agree with. We need more people who are dealing with this illness, who have that kind of reach to do it. Like it's like not like worth like begging like some famous person who doesn't have this illness to like be like it's. Unfortunately, there aren't like a tremendous amount of famous people, but there actually are. Like I looked into it, like there's like a fair amount of people who've had this illness, who do have this illness, who just don't talk about it. Like there's the bassist from like Red Hot Chili Peppers apparently had it, or does still have it, and he doesn't really talk about it that much, and it's a shame because he's really famous. The guy who directed all the Peter Sellers movies had it. The Pink Panther films, he had it, and like I never heard a word from him about it. They claim Cher had it, but like it doesn't seem likely that she had it for long. But like it's same thing though. Like, and I'm sure there are celebrities right now who have long COVID who are just not talking about it. Anyways, let's go to the last part of this pretty good video about like the highly flawed, to be generous, PACE trials. I'm just going to start it from the point where he on the fifth point that he's making, and then we'll go from there. I'm only going to play a couple minutes of it.
And the fifth and final criticism, and what is perhaps the most worrying of all, was that the authors of this trial had egregious conflicts of interest with the participants who were taking part in it. But yet they didn't disclose this to the participants before they engaged in the trial. Here's David Tuller explaining once again.
Three main PACE authors have had long careers as consultants or advisors to disability insurance companies, including, as I said, the Department for Work and Pensions, sponsor of the PACE trial. Why would they do that? Well, they don't want to pay much pensions. I mean, they don't want to pay out disability payments. Of course, that's why they did it. The implication was that this would prove these treatments would get patients back to work. That's why this, occupational outcome presumably was one of their outcomes, and it was bust. And, Peter White, gave a whole seminar about this, and Peter White has, one of the co-authors, signed notes saying if this person hasn't had graded exercise therapy or cognitive behavior therapy, they shouldn't get benefits. Now, did they advise participants in their trial, that they had this massive conflict of interest? No, they did not. When you write a protocol, you agree you're going to abide by this and this and this kind of set of regulations, including various ethics codes. They agreed to abide, as many researchers do, with the Declaration of Helsinki. The Declaration of Helsinki is a human rights document written after the World War II to protect subjects of human subjects of research. And it has a whole sorts of provisions about what researchers are supposed to do to protect human subjects of research. The iteration that was in force at 2005 specifically required researchers to inform participants of any possible conflicts of interest or institutional affiliations. Now, any possible conflicts of interest is quite broad. Okay, I understand that. However, nobody forced these people in their protocol to put down that they were going to adhere to the Declaration of Helsinki. Nonetheless, that's what they put down, and that's what they received approval and money for. They got money for their protocol with that in it. Now, when they did their consent forms, they did not tell anybody in the consent forms about these possible conflicts of interest. In other words, that they were doing this as advisors to disability insurance companies.
So those for me are my 5 biggest concerns with this study. There was certainly a lot more that have been.
All right, so that is there's more to that. That was the fifth point, but that was a big one because it's the same thing that's sort of happening with the NIH trials. It's similar. It's not the same thing, but it's similar. The PACE trials were absolutely criminal. so there's two main takeaways from that last point. One is that they got funding under very false pretenses, right? This disclosure of that they were doing this under the guise of some sort of protocol, right? Which they really didn't. And the other one was that they were doing it really for the to deny people benefits. This is nothing short of basically eugenics accounting, right? That's what I would call it, right? Everyone always thinks that like Nazism is all about just like, oh well, we know what Nazism was about. Nazism was just about like killing Jews and stuff like that. No, Nazism was a technocratic way to systematically eradicate people who the logic behind it is to get rid of people who are in a legal way. Because remember, the Nuremberg laws, for example, was a legal framework, right? The guy who wrote the Nuremberg laws, right? He was extremely proud of it because he was like, "Well, hey, we're doing this the legal way, right? We have this framework, sort of like the Jim Crow laws, right? Where we can make a legal juridical argument that it's okay for us to discriminate against people who are Jewish, right? You know, they have all these stupid things in here. Well, he's a quarter Jew, but his mother was part German, then he's there considered German. All these weird technical bullshit things to discriminate against people, and it's the same thing with these kinds of studies, right? They don't use them to help people; they use it to discriminate against people, right? And so that is I think the big takeaway from it. Now I'm imposing a little bit of my own politics onto it because I do think that's what the logic of it is. And you say, well, you're just appealing to sort of, you can't just, everyone says everything is Nazism, but the logic is really deep in it when you get to the level of the government and how they treat disabled people and how they treat people that they consider to be an economic drag, right? A cost that, like, you're not look at as a human being anymore. You look at it as a cost measure, right? That's all you're looking at as a how much is this person costing us, right? And what can we do to make it less, right? Right down. I mean, it's disgusting that they're measuring like down to like the, I guess in the UK, like the milligram or or whatever it is, to like how much it costs to keep you just like barely alive, right? And it's the same thing in the United States. So those were two of the things that I'm happy that got out there. And David Teller does really good research and work, and I'm just really happy that they're out there advocating for us. So does Emmy awareness, is it working? I think so. I mean, maybe. Yeah. I mean, on some level it is. On some level, it's not moving the needle, I don't think, in terms of getting us the treatments that we need. But people are now, I think, more actually, yes, aware of it. Some of that has to do again with because of long COVID and vax injuries and all these other things. And also the fact that I think people are in this communities, in the various communities, have been pulling together to make sure that it's more of an umbrella sort of term for like chronic illnesses of the same, within the same genre, I guess, right? Like people who have Lyme, people who have like fibromyalgia, MCAS, chronic fatigue syndrome, ME, CFS, and long COVID, that they're all being that no one is sort of being like elbowing each other out, and we're all trying to make space for one another. So yeah, that's all I really had to say. I'll leave all the links in the description if you want to watch them on your own. I'm gonna make a separate video of a poem that I was going to read, one of my own poems, but I was like, everyone's kind of doing that. So I'm going to read a different poem that I like, and then I'm going to try to make like a video out of it maybe. And yeah, that's it. It's a poem by Pierre Reverdy, who was a French surrealist poet in like the 20s or 30s or something like that. So I'm going to try to do that right now. And yeah, thanks for watching. If you do, and if you don't, again, I don't care because I don't do this reviews. I do it because someone watches it. That's great. If they don't, whatever. It's mostly just to catalog how I'm feeling. Oh yeah, to tell you how I'm feeling. Not well. So, and my hair is all weird today. So, I will catch you next week and enjoy the day if you can. I didn't get to see the aurora borealis because I didn't know it was happening. But if you got to see it, that's good. And yeah, just shout out to anyone who's doing awareness stuff and anyone who is just doing it on our behalf. Thank you. Yeah, so I'll see you next week.